Chapter 2. The Weight of the Ordinary. Doug Weapon set his empty coffee mug down on the counter, letting out a slow breath. The news segment had moved on to something meaningless. Politicians bickering over infrastructure or some other nonsense. But his mind stayed fixed on the Bahama anomaly. He knew how these things went. The media would hype it up for a week or two, some academic would claim it was natural formations, and then it would vanish from public discussion. But Doug wasn't about to let it go. Still, he had a day off, and he wasn't about to waste it obsessing over something he couldn't control. Not yet, anyway. Pulling on an old hoodie, he stepped out onto the front porch and took stock of the unfinished repairs he'd been putting off. His house, a modest single-story place that had seen better days, was a patchwork of half-completed projects. The siding near the front door still needed replacing. The fence had a sagging section where last winter's storms had done a number on it, and the gutters were hanging on by sheer stubbornness. "Guess I should do something about this crap," he muttered, hands on his hips. He wouldn't, though. Not today. Instead, he turned toward the backyard, where last year's garden was little more than dried stalks and weeds. Every spring, he told himself, he'd grow something more ambitious, but by summer, it was always tomatoes, peppers, and a few herbs, just enough to feel like he was putting in the effort. He knelt down, running his fingers through the soil. Still good, still alive. Maybe this year he'd finally go for those heirloom vegetables he kept reading about. Or maybe he'd let it go wild and call it a pollinator-friendly habitat. Both were equally likely. A vibration in his pocket pulled him out of his thoughts. He fished out his phone and checked the group chat. "Mark, I still can't believe you pulled off that last roll, man. If you had failed, we'd all be dead." Doug. "Pure skill." Terry. "BS. That was luck and you know it." Doug. "Yeah, but epic luck." A few more messages went back and forth, mostly Mark and Terry arguing over whether they could have taken a different approach. Doug smirked. He liked these guys. He didn't have a lot of friends, but the ones he did have were solid. Then, as he scrolled, another message caught his eye. Doug. "Hey, any of you ever heard of the Bahama anomaly?" Terry. "Is that a band?" Mark. "Sounds like some History Channel nonsense." Doug. "It's an underwater ruin, possibly 12,000 years old." Mark. "Oh, so definitely History Channel nonsense." Doug. "Screw you guys, I'm gonna do some digging." He put the phone away, shaking his head with a grin. They'd come around. Doug went back inside, his eyes drifting toward the old book sitting on the counter. He'd picked it up at a rummage sale last weekend. The Silent Gods and the Forgotten Ages. The cover was cracked leather, the pages yellowed and brittle. It smelled like dust and secrets. He knew exactly who would appreciate it. Grabbing his jacket, he tucked the book under his arm and headed out the door. It was time to visit Miranda Alden, the proprietor of the local occult bookstore, and the woman who, whether she knew it or not, had been living rent-free in his head for the past year.